Round 4, Season 2. Today we find ourselves in the small principality. Interesting race ahead of us. Quite a full grid. 18 drivers. And as we get underway with Q1, let's welcome co-commentator, but RZDV.
Jono, how are you?
Good in yourself.
Good, son.
You'd much rather be on the race circuit, wouldn't you?
Out on track.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yes.
You've actually won the circuit a few times. Over more than one league, so I'm sure you'd like to be out there. This is a night race, so something a little bit different. Really looks pretty good. But how dangerous would a wet night Monaco race be?
We did it for a championship decided between me and Miss Max. It was full wet all the way.
My lack of recollection of that race is probably because it ended very early. I don't remember that at all. Have a look who's out on track at the moment. Got TnB Wes. He's in the Renault. Car's jumping around a little bit. I don't know if that's a bit of lag. We just have to keep our eyes on that. See who else is on track. We've got Wolf on circuit. He's in the Saldo. Ronald in the McLaren. Esotronic in the Williams. We also got one of the Mercedes out on circuit. Got Cowboy 33. Everyone going out to try and get that first lap in. Well, Wes sets the benchmark on 1:13.2. Wolf goes over the line, 1:13.2 as well. That's extremely close. Oh, sorry, that's Ronald, the 1:13.2. So nothing in it between first and second. Have a look who else is on circuit.
DW going around the final corner, and there goes Gavin. Already.
Gavin on provisional pole by quite a large margin there. DW with a 112.9. Gavin the only one there initially to get into the 111s. This is a man to watch out for in the Toro Rosso. We've got Nizmax. He hasn't set a lap time yet, and there we go, 112.2. So that's a 112.6, but that's 9/10 of a second slower than Gavin. So I'm sure he's got a little bit more in the tank than that. A few cars on their out laps. See, where's Cowboy? Cowboy now on a fast lap.
And Cameron looked like he bumped the wall as he goes back into the pits.
Cameron diving into the pit lane. Cowboy now coming out of the chicane, coming into the swimming pool area. Yet to set a lap time. This is his fast lap. See what he can do. Fastest lap at the moment, lap time to beat the 111.7. Like Gavin in the Ferrari. Cowboy goes 6th, 117.4. Another man who has not yet set a lap time, and we know he's quick, is Tux. He's also out on circuit at the moment. It's on an outlap. Our racer now starts his fast lap. He's in sector 1 as he goes through Casino. Right on board with the Red Bull driver now. Turns right into the famous tunnel under the hotel. Back in the days of the V12s, it was an amazing sound in there. And then heavy braking into the chicane. Goes over the corner a little bit more than he probably would have liked. It cost him a bit of time. I don't think he's throwing absolutely everything at this. He looks like he's going pretty careful at the moment. Nice there in the last corner. Goes really tight. See what he can do as he goes over the line. And he goes second with a 111.8. Nothing in it between him and Gavin.
And Tux.
Really nicely done. We didn't see Tux go over the line. He did a 111.9. 2/10 of a second, cover the top 3. 3 drivers have gotten into that 11. Nobody currently on a fast lap.
Interesting, Cameron is on a set of super softs.
On a set of super softs. Maybe thinking if he's starting maybe further back, he can go longer into the race.
But this isn't their qualifying by.
Remember your strategy here in Monaco only counts as long as you don't break your wing.
Yeah.
You can have the best strategy ever, but going into turn 1 you break your wing, and that's the end of Cam. We actually got that on screen. And
as he starts from the back.
Means he's going to start from the back, so he doesn't have to worry about tyre choice for the race. He can start on whichever tyre he'd like. He's right on board now with his teammate Gavin. Gavin is on a fast lap, currently going through the tunnel into the chicane. He's the current pole sitter, provisional pole sitter, 111.7. But that's just 300ths of a second faster than my racer, so he'll want to improve on that. I'm not sure if he got a bit squirmish there, or if that was my connection, or if it was a bit of both. But let's see as he goes over. I think he might have just lost a little bit of time there in the swimming pool. Saw the car going a little bit crazy. Seems like the rest of the, besides Gavin, the top 6 all in the pits. EW out on track, currently in 5th place, so 112.9. Definitely more in that Red Bull. Oof. Touches the barrier, doesn't seem to have gotten any damage.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Maybe just sounded a lot worse than it was.
So DW improved by 5/10. Springbok Gamer is about to start his first lap.
Taking it really slow around the last corner, wants to get the best possible traction as he goes off into what at Monaco is considered a straight. Now he'll go up the hill towards Casino. Bumpy part of the circuit, so easy to go over a bump, lose it and find the arm curve. Ooh, and he gets a bit of barrier there on the outside of Casino, and that'll obviously cost him a lot of time. Lap's been compromised.
He doesn't have wing damage, surprisingly.
Doesn't seem to have wing damage, but I think he would have lost quite a bit of time there.
Unless it was lag.
Little piece yet to set a lap time. Still sitting in the pits on a set of supers. Staffy is, well, I was going to say out on circuit, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. Yeah, he's battling with the pit entry. Different to see him in a Renault. Quite used to seeing him in the Alpha. Gavin is on an outlap. Seems determined to better that lap. Doesn't have to worry about getting into Q2. I think we're getting comments on YouTube and I can't see them. So, excuse me if I'm silent for a second. Androids can be difficult.
What's next? I show on an outlap.
Alright, I'm back. So, who's out on circuit? We've got Nozmax out on circuit. He's currently 4th with a 112.6. I think he'll want to get that lap time closer to the 111s. Turks is sitting in the pits, as is Y Racer. Gavin out on circuit in Sector 2. So have a Red Bull out on circuit of DW, so Red Bull, Toro Rosso, and Gavin's come into the pits. So he hasn't been able to better that initial lap time that he set at the beginning of Q1.
There goes Nozmax. 0111's got looked like he got held up a bit in Sector 3 by Renault.
Another thing to mention, in case you forget, in this season of TnB, there are no setups. You only have default setup, and default setup can be okay at certain tracks, can actually get around it and the car can feel fine, but Monaco is not one of those circuits. So it'll be interesting to see these cars on, what is it, 6 wings around Monaco.
Yeah. To be fair, Jono, the setup doesn't really feel that bad around Monaco.
Good evening, Ronald. I don't know why you're referring to me as Mark, or it's a bad thing, because I make ridiculous mistakes. You might want to clarify. Turks has retired from the session. He's currently in 4th, so obviously doesn't feel the need to better his lap. Nozmax will start a fast lap now. He wants to improve that 111.8. He just needs to find, what is that, 200? 200ths of a second.
Little piece is about to start
Really?
a fast lap.
So as I see it, retired, that would be Wolf, Esotronic, Heno, Boucher, and Cameron have all retired. So they will take no further part in qualifying, and they will start in those positions from 14th down to 18th. Pretty much in the order they lasted in qualifying. The rest of the cars that are greyed out, they retired too, but voluntarily. It was not terminal.
Little piece.
Little piece in sector 3 wants to set a lap time, hasn't set one as of yet. He's in 13th place, so he's at risk of falling out. See what he can do as he goes over the line. He goes 10th. That's going to push Springbok Gamer down to 11th, Staffy down to 12th, Cowboy down to 13th. But we will see this entire field going through to Q2. Little piece actually just giving us a little bit of entertainment there. I'm glad I was on the car. Did a bit of donuts. Wonder if he knew he was on screen, because that was well timed. Gavin goes over the line, but look at that. That is a 110.7. And I think that's something to think about going into Q2. A 110.7. Nicely done. Seems like that's pretty much the action for Q1.
A little piece that I think is might be done.
Little piece now, he goes into the pits, and I think that's about it. We lost 5 cars in Q1. Let's hope that's not the case in lap 1. Now just waiting for the session to end. 1 or 2 of the drivers have not retired. There we go. Little piece is retired. And we're free to go through to Q2. Obviously now everyone's going to qualify for that Q2. We didn't have 15 runners.
And this is going to be the interesting session that's coming up.
Right, so let's just go through who was who. Obviously Gavin going on provisional pole, he set that 110.7 right at the end. And you got Nizmax in 2nd, Y-Race is 3rd, Vino in 4th, Tix 5th, DW 6th, Ronald 7th, Lucas 8th, Wes 9th, Little Piece 10th, Springbok Gamer 11th, Staffy 12th, Cowboy 13th, and Wolf 14th. And it shows Esotronic in 15th. Did they voluntarily retire? Is that maybe they were just on the bottom of the screen because I'm not sure. Well, we've got 13 runners. We've got 13 runners in Q2. So we have lost 5 drivers. We have lost 5 drivers.
Those who retired.
So nobody jumping out of the pits immediately. And as I say that, mechanics appear on screen, both Red Bulls heading out.
Staffy is the first one out on track, which might be the best place to be. Interesting is to see what strategies everyone's gonna go for.
I wonder if there was any communication there between the Red Bulls, or if they just simultaneously decided to go out of the pits at the same time. That would be, I know they're not in a party chat. Maybe they are. I think they are. Well, if they're aiming for a Red Bull 1-2 this weekend, they're gonna have to beat the Ferrari. It's quicker by some margin in Q1. Let's see how that time carries over to Q2. We haven't seen any action from him as of yet, still sitting in the pits. Obviously the first 3 cars to get out on Gavin is on an outlap.
Started his fast lap.
Gavin is on an outlap. Staffy goes around a very slow moving Force India. Really didn't want to get in the way there. Nicely done by Vino. So first man we'll see over the line will be Staffy, but he's dived into the pits, so he's given up on that.
My race out of the final corner.
There we go, 112.0. You know, that's pretty far off what we saw in Q1. God, that's a good time. I think it might be enough for top 10. Is Ronald retired?
Yeah.
Where are the Red Bulls?
Gavin going into the final corner.
I think this was his outlap. Oh, there we go, look at that. That's even quicker. No, Q1 he did a 110.7. Still a 111.0. Nicely done. Gino nicely done. Second place, 111.8. He's really quick. What appeared to be a Red Bull in the wall, but he was actually just getting out of the way for somebody.
Okay, Red does 111.7.
Nicely done. He goes second for the time being. Better lap time than he accomplished in Q1. Springbok Gamer in the Haas, also on an outlap. Sure, you'll want to get that car into the top 10 and go through to Q3. And then this is obviously the session where you decide what tyre you're going to start on. The first and second place at the moment is Gavin and DW, and they're both on hypers, whereas third and fourth are on ultras. So already different strategies coming into play here. Lucas, in the meantime, he's gone fourth with the 111.9. 4 people now within like those 111s, 9/10 of a second covering them. Springbok Gamer goes into the pits without setting a lap time. Little Pete's still in the pits, has not set a lap time. Seems like he likes to come out of the pits really late.
Staffy coming to the second last corner.
Where's now coming out of the pits. Needs to get a lap time down. Pits in sector 2 in the other horse. Showed a lot of pace in Q1. Yet to put down his marker. Goes over the line now and it's a 112.6. And that's currently 6th place. No one else on a fast lap at the moment. Unless anyone's having 2 quick laps. Wes is on an out lap. Gav is retired. So he's obviously happy with that time. No need to... and that's the tyre he's going to start on. He's going to start on the hypers.
Okay, interesting. I don't know if you see it, but looks like TnB West is just standing out of the barrier. And,
yeah, he's been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I was actually looking at that. I'm not sure what that was about. And he's been disqualified from the session, so he will take no further part. And that also means that by being disqualified, that means you go right to the back of the grid. Disqualify is technically worse than DNF.
AI is very stupid. He was in a much safer place where he got disqualified. Now it's at
so obviously
chicane.
Obviously just the 10 drivers will go through to Q3. Ronald has retired. Wes has been disqualified.
That's nice.
But that means we will lose 1 car. So you do want to get out there and set a lap time. You're not guaranteed a Q3.
He's now entering the tunnel.
Comes out of the famous Novell chicane and down to back. It's a circuit that's been here since I think its first ever race was in 1923 or 1929. And its first championship race was in 1950. So it's a 112.0. Currently a second off, but that's obviously on ultras. Gavin did set that time on hypers. Might have a slight time advantage, but then those tyres are going to be the first to drop off in the race. Currently 10th, he hasn't set a lap time though. And Little Piece, still no lap time.
1942.
And that's a big impact for Springbok Gamer. Lucky.
Lag, of course.
That was lag. Sorry, he's popped up somewhere else. Seeing funny things on my screen. There's Max into the pits. Seems like everyone's in the pits. But remember, we will lose one car, so if Little Piece puts a lap into the top 10, somebody's gonna be eliminated from Q3. If you're not happy with his lap time, he retires from the session. There's no one out on circuit except for Springbok Gamer, currently in 9th place. I think he is safe. There's quite a gap between himself and Cowboy. So as it stands, if Little Piece gets that lap in, we will be losing Cowboy, but still no activity in the pits. It's under 3 minutes remaining, so not sure why he hasn't set a lap time.
There he goes. Just as he said, he goes out.
Going out with 2 minutes 30 on the clock.
Are you waiting until the track is quiet?
It's only gonna get the one quick lap, I think.
Yes.
Well, he's the only car we can follow for the time being. Everyone else is either retired from the session or is sitting in the pits happy with their lap time. Surprised not to see any activity in the pits from Mercedes there, with Cowboy in 10th place, 116. A big risk of falling out. Don't see any countermeasures there from Mercedes. Sitting in the pits. Little Piece now has the track to himself. Don't think a lot of drivers can have said that about qualifying in Monaco. Timed it pretty well. He goes over the line now to start a quick lap. There was 1 minute 15 remaining on the clock, so I think he could still have a possibility here of 2 flying laps. Little Piece now through the tunnel. Around final corners he goes onto the straight. I love how they call this a straight, it's really not. Goes over the line and goes 4th with a 111.9. I think that clean track worked in his favour. He did get over the line, so I think he can go for a second run, but he's decided not to. He's retired from the session. No point really. Definitely safe. And I didn't see Cowboy come out, so I'm going to presume that he dropped out of.
No, he didn't.
He dropped out of the session. There we have the top 10 to go into Q3. It's going to be Gavin on provisional pole again with the 111 flat, slightly slower than his Q1 time. Then in second place, DW, third Vino, fourth Little Piece, fifth Lucas, 6th Y Racer, 7th Nismax, 8th Tux, 9th is Staffy, and then 10th Springbok Gamer. Both Red Bulls in the top 10 there, but not showing the dominance that they have in the first 3 rounds. Here we are, Q3, it's the final shootout, top 10 shootout. Everyone will have the fastest tyre, as little fuel as possible, and be as careful as possible. Well, a lot of cars getting out on circuit almost simultaneously. And this is a track you really don't want to get traffic on. Wes, I enjoyed your story about your disqualification. It's really? So you just parked the car there? Nicely done. Don't know how Renault would have felt about that. He parked the car because he spilled his drink. Don't think Renault would be impressed by that at all. They would have said something like, "You did what?" Nicely done. And now you're sitting in spectator mode, just watching. Gives you some time to strategize. Good strategy around here is don't get damage. No lap times as of yet. 9.5 minutes remaining in Q3. Shortest of the qualifying sessions. This is a very short track, so definitely get that second stint. DW goes over the line. First one to go over the line. Gav Pug, he's taken provisional pole for the time being with the same lap time he set in Q1, a 110.7, just 0.003 of a second slower. The other one was a 1701, it's 1704. Vino's gone a 111.1. Nicely done. It's 0.4 of a second off the pace. Let's have a look who else is out there. We've got the Force India, he's diving into the pits. Looks out on circuit, as is Springbok Gamer. Goes over the line, goes fourth for the time being, a 113.4. Now tucks in the other horse. It's going around the final corner. And that was an out-up. Apparently I can't read. Gavin goes faster. of 110.1. Takes 6/10 out of a lap that I thought was pretty quick. Obviously, we still have to see some pretty quick drivers.
In Q1, he did all.
He did a 110.701, if I'm not mistaken. And now he did a
110.721.
Okay.
Then he did 110.704.
So he went slightly faster, and now he's taken 6/10 out of that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's considerably faster than anything we've seen today. We didn't see, but Nismax went over the line. He went second. Nismax goes second with a 110.7. It's a good thing Gavin found those 6/10, otherwise things would be pretty close right now. Then you got Tux just 3/10 of a second off of Nismax's pace. But almost a second covering the top three. You can say a second covering the top four. Have a look, where is Lucas? He's gonna start his fast lap.
Little piece entering the tunnel.
Little piece has retired from the session. That's the end of that for him. That's his his right wheel broken off. He's hit the barrier, and yeah, he's going to start in 10th. First man to retire from Q3. Ooh, and that's him. I think that was lag. There's no way he survived that sort of impact.
Is that Lucas?
Yeah. Vino on an outlap. Currently a 111.1. In 4th place, 1 second off of provisional pole. He can, although, get his way up to 3rd if he finds 1/10 of a second and get himself to the front of that 2nd row. Don't you really want to be... Where do you want to be on the grid in Monaco? Front row?
Front 4 and...
Or right at the back?
First 2 rows and the last 2 rows.
You don't want to be starting in 10.
You don't want to be in the middle. Okay, usually in league racing it's not that bad. But when it comes to public lobbies, you don't want to start in the middle.
Noble, unfortunately I'm unable to follow Lucas at the moment. His car is very disorientating. It's going in all sorts of directions. I hope that's my connection and not his, because that can be very difficult to drive around at Monaco. Springbok Gamer still on an outlap. Let's have a look, where is Vino? Vino comes out of that Novel chicane now. He entered the swimming pool section. Not sure if that was lag or if that was a bit of barrier, but I'm seeing a lot of it today. So if it is my connection, I apologize. DW seems to be running fine on my screen. Lucas now coming out of the pits. Maybe have 2 bites at it. Just 2 minutes remaining on the clock, so I think it's just going to be the 1 lap. This Max on an out lap. Really nice and slow around the corners, being very careful not to get any damage or even mess up your tires. And you can often do that on an out lap. Currently got that 110.7. He does take pole, he's going to have to find 6/10 or more. That would mean probably going into the 109s. Well, Max will start that fast lap now, and we'll see if he can improve. He goes over the line with 40 seconds remaining on the clock, so this is going to be his last opportunity. Now out of Casino down to Maribor. Such a difficult circuit, and as he goes through this hairpin, I just thought of lap 1. EW now retiring from the session. Max has retired from the session. He's obviously not happy with the sector times he was seeing and just let that one go. Man still out on circuit is Y Racer, currently in 5th place. He's currently got a 111.3.
He's up into 7th.
Lucas up into 7th. We'll see if Y Racer can improve shortly as he goes into the swimming pool section. Seemed clean enough. Around the final corner, ran a bit wider than he probably would have wanted. You've got to get as close to that barrier as you can. A little bit over the curve. Let's see if he can improve. He does improve. He goes second with a 110.7. 100th of a second faster than Max. And, well, nicely done. He got himself on the front row in Monaco, and that's where you want to be. And that's it. We don't have anyone else out on circuit. I think we're just waiting for Springbok Gamer to retire. Then we'll go through to the race. It's gonna feel like a long one, even though it's a short circuit. 72 laps, is it?
78.
78 laps. And at a circuit like this, well, we haven't noticed anything funny in the weather. We haven't been told anything funny in the weather. So we presume it's going to be a dry race. I'm sure I would have seen something in the comment section. Well, there we go, your top 10. Gavin with that 110.1, 6/10 fast, well, half a second faster than anyone. Then Y Racer in second, put in a brilliant lap time at the end. Max third, Tix fourth, Vinno fifth, DW sixth, Lucas in seventh, Springbok Gamer eighth, Staffy in ninth. And then little piece in 10th. He did not set a lap time. Ronald says it's dry all the way. Can you imagine the havoc of a wet Monaco? See now, just waiting for the drivers to do any final touch-ups to their strategies. Obviously they can't do any final touch-ups to their setup. That is stuck on default. Now's the time to decide how many pit stops, what tyre. If you're outside of the top 10, what tyre would you like to start on?
I'll go for the ultra softs.
The ultra softs, not the hypers. One thing I did miss is why Racer went second. I'm not sure what tyre he qualified on. Here we go.
Ultra softs formation lap.
So I just read to you the top 10. Let's just go through the rest of the field. Already got 3 disqualifications, but anyway, let's go through the rest of the field. 11th place, it's going to be Cowboy. 12th, Ronald. Then in 13th, we've got Wes. 14th, Wolf. 15th, Esotronic. 16th, Heno. 17th, Boucher. Then 18th, Cameron. Also had an unfortunate incident. And then Morris in 19th. I think he missed qualifying. He's just joining the race. Didn't see him come in the lobby. Must have missed that. Rob, did you know a South African has won the Monte Carlo Grand Prix twice?
No, I didn't.
That's right. Jody Scheckter won at this circuit in 1977 and 1979.
That's not bad.
And then obviously, driver with the most race wins. Yeah, at Monaco, it's the legend Ayrton Senna. Michael Schumacher's actually joint second with Graham Hill on 5 apiece. But the record holder is Ayrton Senna with 6 wins. And your top constructor here at Monaco is McLaren with 15 wins. Here we go now, we wait for the red light. I don't have the best camera angle for the start of the race. But here we go, 5 red lights, and off and away we go. We watch turn 1 with anticipation. Let's see, we'll go down the field. It looks pretty clean to me. See a bit of a mess towards the back. Let's have a look. A lot of carbon fiber. There's a Merc at the back hitting the wall. Got a damaged McLaren. Seems to be what they damaged for. I don't see damage on Cameron's car. I actually think his car's fine.
Yeah.
There's a Williams in the wall.
There's a Renault in that barrier. Oh, that's not ghosting.
And that's not good. Wes is retired from the session, so he ghosts. But that is very unfortunate. Got a disqualification in qualifying, and then on lap 1,
safety car.
That safety car. Well, he did retire in the middle.
Gavin just got a drive through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's gonna put him right at the back when the safety car comes in.
Well, that's a disaster. Really can mess up your strategy. Sometimes we joke around by saying things like, yeah, like you break your wing in the first 5 laps, but
oh no!
And was that a collision with the safety car?
Yeah.
I think that was a collision with the safety car that led to a bit of a pile-up. So, penalties being handed out left, right and centre.
Nismax has
lots of carbon fibre lying on the track. And your top 3 as they go beyond the safety cars, Gavin, Nismax, Y-Racer. So Nismax was able to get past Y-Racer at the beginning of the race.
He now has wing damage. I'm not sure if Y-Racer has wing damage.
I haven't seen any message as of yet regarding the safety car. I think it might still be out there for another lap after this one.
Lap or 2. DW has wing damage.
What I like to do.
It's difficult to see who has wing damage.
You can really only see the left hand side. If there's wing damage on the left hand side, you can sort of see it if it's basically the end plate, but on the right hand side you can't see it then. So you have to try and see in broadcast, and the camera angle doesn't always do you any favors. Nismax comes into the pits, he's got damage on that front wing. So let's have a look, let's keep our eyes open and see who else comes into the pits. DW comes into the pits. That's the second victim we've seen so far. No one else coming into the pits at the end of lap 1. That seems to be the 2 biggest casualties so far. Nismax and DW both only exiting the pits now. And that puts Nismax 13th, DW 15th, and their race flipped in a matter of laps. Qualified strong, and now things are looking very different. Gavin has to join that group, and if I was him, I would actually pit under the safety car. Pit during racing,
the penalty, you can't serve
under the safety car.
He has a drive-through.
Oh, that's right.
You can't do a drive-through under the safety car. So that was a big mistake by Gavin. So
can you serve this penalty at any time, or is there a limit?
We have 3 laps.
You've got to serve it within 3 laps. Well, you know what, that's me asking you that question is actually a good sign. I don't get that many penalties. I might be slow, but I don't get penalties. Saw a bunch of penalties there. I wasn't able to read them. They flashed across the screen. One of them was 5-second stop-go penalty for Little Piece, I think. And then briefly I saw another one. Must have been a collision. Have a look. Nismax currently in 12th place in that Toro Rosso. Going behind his teammate Little Piece, the 2 Toro Rossos in 11th and 12th. Then in 10th place we've got Cameron in the Ferrari. Currently in the points. He'll really want to bring that car home today. Needs to bring that Ferrari home in this championship. Hasn't had the best of luck. Crashed out of 2 races and didn't appear at the other because of, let's call it, communication issues. Then going up into 9th, you've got the Force India Vino, 8th, McLaren, Ronald. In 7th place, you've got the Alpha of Wolf. 6th place, you'll find the Mercedes, Cowboy. Staffy doing a great job off that restart. He's currently in 5th for Renault. Nicely done. Y-Racer setting the fastest lap of the race. Gavin is in the pits.
surprisingly not serving a drive-through.
I thought he had a drive-through penalty. If he had a drive-through penalty, then that means he still has a drive-through penalty, because they're not allowed to work on the car.
Jeez, like there's a lot of lap 1 warnings.
So,
yeah,
things will settle down.
Drive-through penalty.
Things are already starting to settle down.
Penalty.
Still has a drive-through penalty, because on that pit stop, they were clearly changing the tires.
And a drive-through, you don't go into
drive-through, you literally drive through the lane. You don't stop. They don't touch the car. So that was a pit stop, not a drive-through. Which means he's going to have to go and waste a whole lot more time. And he's currently in 13th.
His teammate also had to pit.
He serves it.
To 15th.
He serves it now. He's going to come out in last.
And we have a Mercedes doing donuts.
Fastest lap by Tux, a 1:15.1. Got a Renault in the pits. It's the Renault of Staffy. He was in 4th place. He was doing really well. Coming in, changing tyres. Wing change. Let's have a look. Where is Gavin? Well, I'm seeing something really strange on my screen. He's not driving through. He's stopped on my screen, so that's interesting.
Yeah, he did his drive through now, so...
Okay, he's coming out of the pits. Where's his teammate? Still on the main straight. So the Ferrari's currently sitting 14th and 15th. Let's have a look here. For the lead, 1.3 seconds is the gap. Tux making up some ground, 1.2 seconds, so making up ground the whole time. And where else is there a battle? Got Wolf currently in 4th, Ronald just 1.3 seconds behind, and actually nothing in it between Ronald and Little Piece, just 0.8 of a second. It's a lot of close racing, but obviously very difficult to pass. And obviously you want it to be a clean pass. You don't want to damage your own car or the car of your opponent. So getting past here cleanly is no easy feat.
Difficult. That's what I say, the overtaking gets done in the pit stops.
Closest battle we've got right now is between Ronald and Little Piece, just 0.4 of a second in it. Little Piece will be keen to get past, but like we've been saying, passing here can be risky.
Cameron has made 2 stops so far in this race. Looking at the pit stops.
Cameron has made 2 stops. So has Heno. Your top 5.
Going to make it third.
Your top 5 have not made pit stops, and that's probably why they're your top 5. With Little Piece trying to get into that top 5 now. 0.3 of a second away. And Vino's not far behind from catching this group. He obviously had to make a pit stop as well. But this is now a long queue forming behind the McLaren. This is a very long queue. Difficult racing conditions if you're in the middle of that queue. You've got cars behind you darting and diving, and you're trying to get past the guy in front of you, and the whole time you're doing it at Monaco. It's one of those days I never regret doing commentary for TnB.
I would rather be out on track.
When we get to Austria, then I get a bit itchy. I love that circuit. Let's have a look. Ronald now coming up on the back of a Salva.
The Wolf. I'm sitting at the back of the queue with Mismax.
Now DW is 3.5 seconds behind Nismax, well 4 seconds almost now behind Nismax. So he could come up on the back of this queue before he knows it. Not sure if that was carbon fiber or leaves falling from the trees. Seriously, the leaves don't need to fall from the trees. DW with a 5-second stop-go penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so he obviously overtook under a yellow flag. And I'm actually hoping that that is the case and that it's not a glitch.
I think that might be a glitch, because who did he overtake?
Because then he's picked up a 5-second stop-go penalty, and that will just affect his race further. Ronald now right on the back of that Sauber. Seems like a little bit of a gap has formed between Ronald and Little Piece. Maybe watch the battle in front of him, but he can't hang back for too long. There's another 2 cars behind him waiting to get past. And DW is closing in. That 4-second gap now 2.6. So they'll be on the back of Nismax's gearbox in a couple of laps. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Cutting corners in Monaco. For Cameron. I'm sure turn 1 had something to do with that.
No, that wasn't turn 1.
Gavin with the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:14.6.
He's only on the main straight now.
Well, it must have been the last lap. I saw the purple. Seems like we might be out of sync. Rob, do me a favor, go up to Y Racer in broadcast and tell me where is he on circuit.
He's heading towards Casino.
Okay. Then we are seeing the same thing. Maybe just 1 or 2 cars. Seems like we're having some different data feeds.
Cameron's now in the tunnel.
So Gavin in 10th place. He's had a unfortunate race. He started in pole by quite a considerable margin. He was 0.6 of a second faster than anyone. And then safety car, drive-through penalty. Had to make a pit stop and then a drive-through penalty. And now he's in 10th place. And needs to make up a lot of ground to catch DW in 9th. Gap now between DW and Nismax, just 2.5 seconds. Gonna catch that group in front of him. He keeps up at the space. Little Piece now picking up 3-second time penalty now for Little Piece. I think penalties are also going to play their role. Good to see not that many retirements on lap 12, just the 3. Morris didn't finish, late entry into the race. Voucher DNF. As for Wes, DW coming into the, I don't know.
I think Cameron might also make. Cameron is gonna make another appearance in the pits.
Little Piece says Little Piece has retired from the race. So that's another one of your I'd say top 10 strong runners falling out of the race.
And Cameron gets lapped, and Cameron is in the pits.
Back into the pits. I think the main thing for today for Cameron is he needs to finish this race. However he does it, he needs to finish this race. I mean, Gavin not having the best day at Ferrari, and They need to get the points at this early stage in the championship. They're not looking that strong. Renault currently in the pits. Didn't see any work being done to the car, so I'm not quite sure what that was all about. He's currently in 16th place. Started with 19 runners, we've lost 3.
Renault was serving a 5-second stop-go penalty.
Let's go back to the front and just have a look what's happening there. Y Racer still leads the race. He leads it by 1.7 seconds from Tix in the Haas. Tix staying with him for the time being, keeping him honest. He knows if he makes a mistake, it's now 1.2 seconds, so he's actually closing up nicely. In third place is a distant 27 seconds down the road. That's Lucas. We've got Wolf in 4th, and quite the train behind him.
Wasn't it a train of a safety car again?
Seems like we do have another safety car. I'm not sure who retired. I don't see any additional retirements. The last one to retire was Little. There we go. No, Henno's left the session. Did he maybe...
No, Henno has retired. Henno has DNF.
So Little Piece was the last man to retire. I don't...
No, it was Henno.
Don't really know what the safety car is for. I didn't see the accident. But now this is the time. If you want to make a free pit stop, do it now. If you've got damage, you might be able to get away with it. But now that queue that formed between 4 or 5 cars, everybody's just going to get compressed again. Gonna have another restart. They're getting quite spoiled, Rob. We've had 3 starts to the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yep.
Steffi now retiring. So the Renault has fallen out. No more Renaults in this race. Wes and Steffi retired from the session, so no Renault points, no Renault finish.
Jonathan, I think you said that of the amount of retirements a bit too early.
We've still got 14 runners on track. I gave a prediction earlier on in a party chat, but I won't say that right now. I'll say it at the end of the race, because if I say it now, everyone could blame me for commentator's curse. So at the end of the race, I will tell you what my initial prediction for finishes was.
Mine probably will also count as commentator's curse.
So I'm not going to say it. But I'm not absolutely sure. I don't have all the facts on all the Monaco Grand Prix dating back to 1950. I don't have that sort of knowledge, but as far as I know, the lowest amount of finishes at Monaco was 1996. And most people believe that there was 3 finishes, but there was actually 4. But the 3 finishes were on the same lap. The other guy had been lapped 2 or 3 times. So just 4 finishes in that race. Oliver Parnas winning his first and only Grand Prix.
Oh, and there goes Esotronic.
Esotronic now leaving.
At turn 1.
DNF for Esotronic, just 12 runners left.
And that should probably make the safety car stay out longer.
For real now, severe collision with Nizmax. He gets a penalty. Let's have a look at Nizmax. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage.
He does, and plates.
Unfortunately, from the camera angle I'm looking at it now, I haven't been able to see anything. But
Arena also has damage.
This is not what you want. Now he's got to come into the pits during the safety car. The only advantage.
Flag. Oh, no.
And the penalties are just racking up, and
I think this is some sort of glitch.
I think Nismax is not gonna like what is appearing in front of him.
I think that might have been a glitch because yet again it's on the safety car.
I don't think the glitch is on our side. I think everything we're seeing is happening in the game, but we're seeing some crazy stuff. He comes into the pits and gets a penalty for yellow flags. Cameron 5-second severe collision with Tix.
And he has been damaged again.
Well, let's go back to the front and just Y Racer. He's behind the safety car in the lead. Tix is now second. Wolf is third. There's actually quite a considerable gap. There was a considerable gap between Tix and Wolf, and now this safety car has enabled him to close that gap right up, and that whole queue of cars behind him. Ronald Finno now first. Ooh, and the Force India's touch. I don't know if there was damage there, but the Force India's did touch.
Safety cars in this lap.
This Max currently 9th, but we are not 100% familiar with what exactly is happening in the penalties. I'm pretty sure everyone's got penalties in this race.
Everyone, I think, except Y Racer. I'm not sure.
He's probably had the cleanest track of everyone throughout the race. Ooh, the Ferraris. What? Oh no. The Ferraris were going side by side for a little bit too long. And Cameron backed off completely. Let Gavin go.
Gavin needs the lead. Gavin is only in 12th place. Last of the remaining runners.
Don't know what happened there, but they were side by side, and then I don't know if there was an illegal overtake or because Cam just sort of slammed on brakes and everyone went past. Now another DNF, this time for Vino Real. He's on his way. He's not going to finish this race. And that means 11 runners, and as much as I try to stay away from commentators' curse, it seems like I've done it again. I was just commending these guys on the retirements. Just 3 retirements and how things have changed. We're now up to 7. Gavin now has DW behind him, just under a second down the road, and then DW has Nismax also just a second down the road. So there's a potential queue that's going to form between 3 very fast drivers. Should probably belong at the top. They've just had very unfortunate races, and they're going to have a battle, but in a very different position than usual. They battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Gavin getting really close to Lucas there. He wants to be he had to be so careful. He obviously doesn't want to break a wing now. It's just lap 19 of 78.
Cameron is in the pits.
Cameron now coming into the pits just to have a look.
His fourth pit stop.
At your stops. Cameron currently leading the race in pit stops with 4 stops. And
Of the drivers that's running.
Nobody's done 3. A few drivers have done 2. We've actually got 4 drivers on track not to have made a pit stop. Cowboy in 10th. And then Y Racer, Wolf and Ronald, and I think that really explains their position in this race. They're doing really well. And they've just kept their nose clean.
Okay, no damage luckily for Gavin.
Potential battle here forming between DW and Nismax. Keep your eyes peeled on that. Lucas now 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. These penalties, they continue to pile up. I haven't got that many time penalties in Monaco, and that's not because I'm a good driver, it's just because I'm terrified of the barrier. So I never get near the apex of the corner. So I don't have to worry about the corner cutting. Getting close to the apex of the corner would be a challenge. Actually completing more than 20 laps of a Monaco Grand Prix since F1 2016, that would be an achievement.
Oh, it was contact.
Ronald now it's spun around. Look at his car as it goes around. Don't see any damage to that front wing. Doesn't go into the pits. Obviously the car's fine.
Oh, and Gavin cuts the corner badly, but it was to avoid contact.
Gavin now with a 3-second time penalty, yet another penalty. And Lucas just no way through.
You must just wait for the mistake to happen.
We see Gavin, DW and Nismax extremely fast drivers, and they're really closing up now on Lucas. And patience will be the key. Oof, and he makes the mistake. He'll come back onto the line and did block someone. He blocked Nismax, and Nismax was the only car not able to get through. But he'll want to get through as quickly as possible, because I think Gavin and DW will make up a lot of ground now that they passed that Force India. Gavin up into 4th after the race he's had. Let's have a look. We've got Wolf in 3rd place, followed closely by Gavin in 4th, just 0.7 of a second in it. So Gavin can see a potential podium position on the way, going through the tunnel, awfully close. Gavin goes for the inside, he brakes later, he gets the position, he does go over the corner though, probably got a warning for that. No penalty, but probably got a warning for that. And Gavin makes his way into 3rd place. Y Racer still leads this race from tips. Those have been your top 2 for a very long time. Gavin 3rd and then Wolf in 4th. And now that queue that was behind Wolf before the safety car, it's sort of reforming in a different order. Now we've got DW, Nismax, Ronald, And then Lucas 2 seconds behind, but he can probably catch this quickly.
He was ahead of Nusmax, now he's behind Ronald.
Let's have a look at the tyres. Top 6 all on Ultra Softs. Ronald on Hyper Softs, and they're 22 laps old. So, how long do you say a set of Hyper Softs lasts around here?
So 29 laps.
So 22, so if he's taking care of them, he's still got a few laps in there. Unless you're DW, then they last like 33. He makes it happen. Let's have a look. So you've got your 2 Ferraris, Gavin in 3rd, Cameron in 11th, crucially out of the points. You'd want to get into the points. Teammate had a bit of a chat with him before the race. He told him he needed to pull up his socks, and sort of laughed it off. So very different garages at Ferrari. It's going to be really difficult now to predict after all the safety cars and the times being so close together. And so many penalties, we actually don't know who's in what position. Wolf picks up a 3-second time penalty. Cameron has got past Cowboy. Ferrari gets past the Merc. And he's up into 10th. And he's into a points paying position. Gav sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:14.3. Currently in 3rd place, but he is closing that gap. He is catching those top 2. Lucas going through on Ronald. Another 3-second time penalty for Cameron. Lucas 7th, Ronald 8th.
He's having trouble with that chicane. The noble chicane.
Now Nuzmax and DW behind Wolf. Got away from Lucas pretty quickly. In fact, Lucas is 8 seconds down the road. So the moment they got past that Force India, they were able to find a lot more pace. But now they've come up behind Lucas, and I think they're quick enough to get past. But I think your best option is wait for that mistake, and that mistake will come. Pressure, lap after lap after lap at Monaco, the mistake will come. Unless you're RZDT and no one can catch you at Monaco. Is that why you didn't race? You didn't want to win.
No.
Oh come on, you could have picked up at least 18 points here.
My internet isn't too good for a full lobby at this stage.
It's a bit too third world.
Wild Race has damage on his wing, left front. Can't see any more. I have a helicopter shot. Oh dear. And there's a bit of wing damage, and yet the King Game gets another penalty.
Look at this battle here between Wolf and Nizmax. Wolf picks up a 3-second time penalty. He goes over the chicane, but he maintains the position. And that'll just frustrate Nizmax further because he really got up on the back of the gearbox. Wolf cut the corner in order to stay in front. And now that gap again, closing up to just 0.3 of a second. And DW not far behind. Ooh, and finally there's contact between the two. Max gets through. As I say, Cameron retires from the race. Didn't get the accident, unfortunately. Hopefully he can send us the footage of that. He's left the session immediately. So he did say if his controller started acting up, he would leave. So who knows?
I think he might have turned in too early into the noble chicane.
There's Max now
and
in third.
Only one driver in it for Ferrari.
DW in fourth. He's now gotten past Wolf. Wolf down to fifth. Sixth and sixth. Closing up. No real battles on track at the moment. Now Nismax getting clean air, getting a clean track ahead of him. 22 seconds is the gap between him and second place. There are a lot of laps to go. And for the time being, he's got a clean circuit. He can just make up the time. Let's see, where is Gavin? Gavin is second. 7 seconds behind Y Racer. Still leads this race. Having a fantastic Monaco Grand Prix. Pulling a Danny Ricciardo in 2018. Obviously we haven't had a Monaco driver win the Monaco Grand Prix in a very long time. I think the last time it happened was in the late 70s or early 80s. But that could change. Maybe even this year. The Charles Leclerc. He's obviously born in Monaco.
Yeah, and it's good to closing that gap between him and Y Racer.
Dux has obviously made a pit stop. He's now on a set of super softs that are 2 laps old. And that's promoted Gavin into second place. Nismax up into third. DW up into fourth. Now Tux might have a bit of a problem here. He's come into the pits. He's obviously lost those positions, but now he's come out of the pits behind the Toro Rosso of Wolf. And we know he can be a defensive driver. We've seen him defend Nismax and DW for quite a few laps, and Tux won't want to be losing time at this stage. Obviously everyone on very different strategies. This race has really mixed things up. DW and Nismax both on the same set of tyres, ultra softs, both 16 laps old. They've been making their way up the field. Nismax has really gotten away from DW. They were very close when they were behind Wolf, and since they've got past, he's managed to get 12 seconds off the road. So he's showing a lot of pace. Y-Racer still leads. Still on that set of ultras for 30 laps now. And he's now... The ultras can go what?
49, 59 laps.
Okay. 30 laps old. And Gavin also on a set of ultras, 26 laps old.
Ja, könnte de Ferrari.
What's that? Rob?
I said these guys revving in first gear.
Let's see if I have the same, No, you see, I can hear it fine. Really weird. I also get certain cars that do that, but we actually getting different cars that do that. Some cars I'm watching fine. Now Gavin getting really close to Y-Racer. 0.7 of a second in it, and this is a battle for the lead. They're on similar strategies, I think, both on a set of ultras. Gavin's got slightly newer tyres by about 4 laps.
Yeah, Gavin has already made one pit stop, so he should play it safe and maybe wait until Y-Racer goes into the pit. Or
But even with 59 laps, even if he does take the tyres all the way, there's going to have to be another pit stop. So they can't go to the end from this stage. Gavin's tyres just 4 laps fresher, so I wonder if he'll have a slight advantage here, chasing Y-Racer down. 0.3 of a second in it.
Cowboy.
Riding on board with them. Fantastic battle for the lead. This is the airtime Gavin was craving. Well, Gavin, there we go. Let's have a look back what's happening in third briefly. I just saw a very, very broken Merc. So just 9 runners left. 3-second time penalty. Who do you think's got the most time penalties?
Not Gavin. I'm not gonna go check. I'm not gonna see how many penalties I have. Check. Whose name pops up the most?
Just carry on following this battle for the lead. Gavin's staying close behind, but doesn't look overly aggressive right now. If I say that, he gets up close on the gearbox. He's all over the mirrors of that Red Bull. Another battle on circuit is DW and Tips. They're fighting for 4th place. DW holding him off for the time being. Just 9 finishes and about that prediction. It's still a ways off, but when I made that prediction, I might have over-exaggerated just a little bit as a joke, and it's getting awfully close. And how many laps remaining? There's 44 laps remaining. So yeah, my prediction could happen, but I'll only say it after the race, and I hope it doesn't happen because that would look terrible.
Jonathan, all that I'm gonna say about penalties, there has been on each lap either a penalty or warning on each lap so far. On every lap there has been a warning or a penalty given out.
It's just one of those circuits that sort of falls in between. And if you've got the corner cutting on regular, there are definitely places on the circuit that you can make up incredible amounts of time. But if you put it on strict, it really takes no prisoners, and it's very unforgiving.
That skates past the DW. Oh,
there's a retirement by Nizmax. I saw that. He hit the barrier. That's the end of him. He's lost the left wheel.
He collided with Wolf.
Came out of the...
Wolf went into a barrier and then collected Nizmax on the way.
Nizmax stayed in the barrier. So he's running in a pretty strong third place considering the race he's had. And now the cars begin to pass the stricken Toro Rosso, and Nizmax's name will simply disappear down the field until we see 8 remaining drivers. And well, that prediction gets ever closer. What if the prediction happens, I'll tell you when it happens instead of telling you after the race. If it doesn't happen, I'll tell you after the race. Pass gets through there on the Alpha, but it looked a bit messy. To let the guy pass, but let him pass at an appropriate place. You don't want to damage your own race and your own lap time.
For a move.
Goes around the outside. Does he make it stick? He does make it stick. There was a bit of contact. The wing looks fine to me. But he's taken the lead of this race. And your pole sitter, who has had quite an eventful start to his race, he's found his way into the lead, and I think that's just a fantastic example of what's happened in this race. Insanity. Started in pole, found his way right to the back after a pit stop and a drive-through penalty, and leading the race. Leads from Y-Racer, who's been leading for, well, most of the race, predominantly, and Tux in third. Was in second for a very long time. Not far behind Y-Racer, but now 43 seconds down the road. Just have a look here at your stops. Y-Racer yet to make a pit stop. The only car still running not to have made a pit stop is Y-Racer. Those Ultra Softs, 37 laps old.
I think he might go into the pits now.
The tyres he started with might go into the pits if he sees that Gavin got past him and now he's pretty much running away. 4 seconds down the road in no time. Might want to get some fresh rubber on that car and have another go. He'll obviously still come out ahead of Tux. And Gavin's tyres aren't much fresher, so 1:13.9, fastest lap of the race. As I say that, he goes fastest and sets purple. Thanks for that. Ghanaian making me look like an idiot. Leads the short race from our racer by 7 seconds. It's really running down the road. Didn't know you were such a fan of this track, but apparently someone's been practicing. No battles on circuit at the moment, so let's just go through your field. See, Gavin leads the race by now 8 seconds from Y-Racer. Y-Racer led for most of the race, but when Gavin caught up to him, he got passed after a couple of laps. When she went around the outside, it's quite a fantastic move actually around Monaco. Tix is in third, still in a podium position, and looks like he's in a strong position to keep that position, because down to fourth, yeah, you're going to have to go over half a minute. So Tix in a strong position. I think everyone in that podium is in a very strong position. They just need to finish. DW in fifth. He's had a mixed bag as well. Ronald in sixth for McLaren. Do we have any teammates left on the grid? Pass.
And Red Bull.
And Red Bull. Right, and what didn't look like it was going to be a fantastic weekend for Red Bull, it's turning out to not be that bad. Still got both cars in the race, obviously still both in the points, because well, we've had 11 retirements in this race. Not quite my prediction just yet, but looks like everyone's calmed down. Looks like even the penalties have calmed down to some extent. So hopefully we won't have any more retirements. Still a long way to go. I mean, we're just over half race distance. We do have a battle on track now.
Yeah.
For fourth place, DW and Lucas. Gap is now under a second. Interesting camera angle I'm getting here. From the back of the Force India, and you're seeing that front wing of the Red Bull getting awfully close. DW now a 3-second time penalty as he goes around the chicane, so I didn't see the corner. We want to get past Lucas. If the drivers are seeing Lucas the way I'm seeing Lucas, I think they might be having a hard time. Literally snaking left and right, like without turning his wheels, so could be quite difficult. We haven't taken out the Wolf, he's in 7th in the Alpha.
Gavin made a pit stop.
And then Springbok came in 8th place, still holding on. Gavin has made a pit stop, he's come back out in 2nd. Now, he's actually gone in before Y-Racer and he had the fresher tyres. Y-Racer's still out there, 41 laps now without a pit stop. And he's really testing the full capabilities of those tyres.
Okay.
It says 49 laps, well, seems like he wants to get 49 laps out of them. I'm sure he's looking to do a one-stop. Run these as far as you can and then get onto a set of supers and finish the race.
Or maybe even a set of hypersofts.
The only man in the race not to have gone into the pits. Everyone else has gone into the pits multiple times. Ronald just the one pit stop. BW up to 3 and Springbok Gamer up to 4. Now Gavin is making an impression here on Y-Racer. The gap is coming down. As I'm trying to read you the gap, it's coming down. It was 2.6 seconds when I started that conversation. It's now at 2 seconds. So you literally took 0.6 of a second out of Y-Racer in Sector 3. And I think there's going to be a battle for the lead shortly. Y-Racer, I think those 43 lap old tyres are not doing him any favours. You think he wants to take it the full 49 laps? Look at the gap, 1.5 seconds. So try and look at 4th place. DW getting really close there. Really trying to get past this Force India. I think he's been behind this Force India for far too long. But we go back to the lead. Just half a second in between Y-Racer and the Ferrari of Gavpig. So into the swimming pool section. I think Gavin would want to get past, but Y-Racer is going to have to pit soon. Doesn't pit, stays out for another lap. So these tyres are going to be at least 44 laps old. There we go, 44 laps.
Contact between DW and that guy Lucas, and it looks like DW does some wing damage again. Difficult to see. Yep, DW has wing damage.
Definitely not having a fun experience at Monaco. But Y-Racer and Gavpig, they're back at it, nothing in it, just 0.4 of a second between the two drivers. He's literally on his gearbox. So let's follow these two for a while. Keep our eyes on this battle. Really nothing in it. It's those tyres. Those tyres are tired. They're old. Gavin is getting the superior grip, the superior traction, and he's obviously braking a lot later. See right there, he's gonna get DRS, he's gonna activate DRS.
I don't know if you're also getting it, but it doesn't look like Gavin's giving full throttle.
Maybe just, if that's true, maybe he's just sitting back a little bit. Maybe he knows Y-Racer is going to have to come in at some point. I mean, a pass at Monaco is always a risky pass, and he doesn't want to break any wings at this stage of the race. He's found his way into a surprisingly good position. So maybe the best option is patience. Y-Racer has hit the wall. Y-Racer has hit the wall in Sector 3, going around the final corner. He's dived into the pits immediately. Now I wonder if he was coming into the pits anyway, or if that just changed the strategy a little bit. He's gone onto a set of hypers.
No, ultras.
Ultras, okay. On my
Another set of ultras.
On my screen, okay, yeah, no, the car's got. There we go. It's flashing between pink and purple. That's very useful. But follow the timing screen, as they say. So if he has gone onto another set of ultras, that means he's going to have to stop again. Because you cannot finish the race by only using one compound of tyre, regardless of how many pit stops you make. So he started the race on ultras, and now he stopped and put ultras on. Rob?
Yeah.
So he has to stop again, otherwise if he finishes the race like this, he'll be disqualified. And that'll be the end of that.
And if he doesn't stop, he will get disqualified at the end.
Just follow the Ferrari driver currently in the lead of the race, your pole sitter. He had a very mixed bag, found his way to last, and then he's found his way back up to the front, and now he leads this race by quite a dominating gap of 29 seconds. While Racer not far behind in third, he could potentially be challenging Tux in the next couple of laps, just 2.3 seconds between the two. And then fourth place, Lucas, I think he's 1 minute behind the podium position, so quite a gap there in the middle of the field. I say we need another safety car just to, close this up again, because every now and again these gaps are getting far too big.
But for another safety car to happen, that means someone else has to retire.
The only single digit gaps currently are the fourth place, and that's 8 seconds, so it's not entirely close. And then it's the battle you're looking at right now between Y-Racer and Tux. Y-Racer and Tux, just 2 seconds in it. Race control, TnB DW picking up another 3-second time penalty. I have no idea how many penalties there are, but we might still see 1 or 2 shake-ups on that final. I don't think he meant to go onto a set of ultras. I really don't think he meant to go on. Now he goes onto hypers. There was damage that we didn't see, and unfortunately, from a brilliant start to the race, qualified in second, got that lap time in at the very last moments of qualifying, had a brilliant qualifying session, started from the front row, found his way to the lead in the carnage of the start, and led for an extremely long period of time. Took those ultra softs for 45 laps, and now he's made, 2 mistakes in a matter of 3 or 4 laps. I'm not sure if he meant to go onto ultra softs. I think he was going to have to come in anyway. The only time he really lost was on the wing.
A Red Bull pulling another Monaco stunt. Last time they did it was on Daniel Ricciardo, and he was in the lead.
Vino for real now leaving the session, so he was obviously watching for quite some time. But the race has hit a bit of a snag at the moment. Not many battles happening on circuit. Just follow your leader for the time being. Well, when there's absolutely nothing happening on track, you throw out a fact or two. Rob, do you have any idea how old that casino is?
About 100 years old.
It's 153 years old. It'll be 154 this year. It's insane.
Crap.
It was built like in the 1860s. So yeah, it was built 120 years before I was born. That's fantastic. Monaco is obviously completely surrounded by France.
And then ocean.
And obviously a lot of rich people over in Monaco because there's no tax. That's right, the state in Monaco does not make any money through taxes. They fund Monaco on tourism and gambling.
Obviously gambling.
Also, there's a law in Monaco that if you don't earn a certain amount, you can't gamble. You're not allowed to. It's a law the government put in place so that people who don't have that much money don't go gamble it away.
That's a nice law.
Well, if you never gamble, your chances are even less. Well, they can just go over the border and gamble in France. It's really not far away.
Ronald didn't retire, he just left.
He just left the session. She had a little mini heart attack. Wolf with another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. A lot of corner cutting. Where is the most prominent parts of the track for corner cutting? Since you're much more of an expert on this track than I am, I'm not even much of a fan.
Turn 1.
Obviously turn 1, yeah, you can cut over the pit.
The Novel chicane.
Yes, that's another one.
And then the swimming pool section.
The swimming pool section is so easy to go over that first chicane and take way too much curve and cut everything. Obviously the second one you've got to tap off just a little bit before you enter the chicane, and if you jump the corner you don't really need to tap off that much. So it's very enticing. You've got to hold yourself back. Awesome helicopter view now of the McLaren going around the final bend and into the pits. Why do they always dive into the pits when I'm focusing on them? I think they're scared of the commentator's curse.
And Jonathan, you won't you'll be surprised about this corner. At low zip, and you can also get corner cutting.
I think that's when you climb those bricks.
Yep.
When you climb those bricks, and even coming out of the hairpin, that first right-hander.
Oh, those.
There's also those bricks there. You can also climb onto those bricks and corner cut. Ooh. Lucas just touching the wall a little bit, but no damage. W still going around in 5th place. Probably got a good chance of finishing there. Ronald 6 seconds down the road. Doesn't look like he's making any ground. The top 3, very wide spread apart. 59 seconds within the top 3, so almost a minute between my racer and Gavin. Don't think we're going to have a close finish at all. I think Gavin might just walk away with this. After winning in Belgium. He did win in Belgium, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Fantastic. Then we both don't remember. We're fantastic commentators, and this happened exactly 7 days ago. So that shows you my attention span. I'll at least I'm honest about it. Watch why Ray says he entered the tunnel for the 55th time. Not finished yet though, he's going to have to do it another 23 times. Into the swimming pool section. Just right on board with BW for a while. He's in 5th place. Currently 20 seconds adrift from 4th. Don't think we'll be catching him anytime soon.
Yes, Kevin for company behind him.
And then obviously Monaco being extremely small, its population for the size of its country makes it the most populated country in the world in terms of size. Second smallest country in the world. That's having a strong showing in the half, still in 2nd place. Y-Racer contemplating what could have been. Still think he made an extra pit stop. That could add, what, 20 odd seconds to your time? So he's 18 seconds behind Cliff, so that extra pit stop could have cost him 2nd place. Not sure if that was lag or if he just got out of shape there going down the hill. Needs to keep it together, doesn't want to make any more pit stops. Just 17 seconds adrift of 2nd, he could still potentially close that gap. Keep our eyes on that gap. Closest thing,
the gap.
Just about to say, closest thing we're getting to a battle is a gap of 3.5 seconds between DW and Ronald. That is coming down as I speak. While I was saying that, it went down to 3.2 briefly. And for the guys who aren't as lazy as me and use a manual gearbox, there's an incredible amount of gear changes in this race. 100% at Monaco with gears, maybe when I learn how to use my wheel. I went and got a wheel to get faster and I lost 4 seconds. That's not useful. That's not useful at all. Especially when you're 4 seconds off the pace in the first place. That makes you 8 seconds off the pace, and that explains why I'm in the commentary box. Guys are doing some really great lap times when you consider the best lap around this circuit was set last year in 2018 by Max Verstappen. It was a 1:14.2. Have a look at the fastest lap and see how close they get to that. If they even go faster. (72, 76 laps), but a very short circuit. Also home to a Formula E race, but they don't use the exact layout. If I'm not mistaken, they don't even go through the tunnel. Riding on board with BW, Just trying to see where the Formula E track does differ. It's going up through Casino. I know this part is still the same. Got a part where they just sort of veer off. They go straight somewhere. Now through the hairpin. I'm not even sure if they go through the hairpin. I don't think they do. They do like some cut through the circuit and find their way back at the swimming pool section. But they miss quite a few of the F1 iconic parts of the circuit. But that could change in future. I mean, at the moment, Formula E circuits are extremely short because of the nature of the sport. The cars are battery powered, literally. So we've already seen the evolution of Formula E. In the first couple of seasons, each driver needed 2 cars to finish a race, and those batteries have evolved that you can finish a race in 1 car. So I think there's still more coming from the other formula managed by the FIA. Watch Ronald now, 0.3 of a second behind DW, both on ultra soft. Ronald's got the much fresher tyres though, just 5 laps old. 30 laps fresher than DW. Seems to be a lot of blue flags. I'm not sure who this is for.
Y-Racer.
It's for Y-Racer. Y-Racer now trying to get through on his teammate. Blue flags have been going off for a while. Hopefully no penalties for DW. And well, 3-second time penalty for DW. And if you don't believe commentators' curse is a thing, how did that just happen? That was incredible. Like literally as I was saying it, there it was on screen. It was like, Jonathan, you're wrong again. Thank you.
Oh, Jonathan, you know, you were talking about the amount of gear shifts earlier.
Yes.
The drivers make about over 3,600 gear changes
in a single Monaco race.
Yeah.
Wonder how many gear changes they make over the course of the weekend.
I don't want to know.
Just finishing this race is an achievement. Still 8 runners in the race. Seems like everyone's calmed down. Let's just go through your retirements. So first have a look if there's any battles on track. We'll just stay with Ronald for the time being. Behind DW by 1.2 seconds. Just going down your retirements. Obviously Nizmax, Cowboy, Cameron yet to finish a race this season. Vino, S-Tronic, Staffy, Little Piece, Heno, Morris, Boucher and Wes. Those are your retirements. You got 11 retirements, 19 starters, 8 runners, and hopefully that's where the retirements will end. Wolf running around in a lonely 7th place. In a lot stronger position earlier. Ronald really getting close now to DW. If you're trying to pass DW at Monaco, you don't have the best luck. It's probably one of the
another retirement.
One of the best defensive drivers in the league. So, and that's a retirement. It's a retirement for Tux. He was running in 2nd place. And look at that, your grid has been restored. Gavin 1st, Y-Racer 2nd. Would you have predicted that 30 laps ago?
No.
technically those top two have had an absolutely insane race, and they are in the same place they started, first and second. Ronald and DW, the only two that are in a battle. It's hovering around the 1 second mark. He's sort of just a little bit too far to make any sort of move. And then it's obviously going to be no battle for the lead. Because if my timing screen is correct, it says Y-Race says a lap behind Gavin, so Gavin just needs to keep it on circuit. Obviously Tix was quite a way up the road, so our timing screens are still showing him, well, now in fourth as Lucas goes past. Be another minute and a half. As he goes down, 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 he will disappear, and you'll be left with 7 runners from 19 starters. That prediction is getting ever closer. How many laps to go?
14.
14 laps remaining.
Well, 14 for Gavin, 13.
Yeah, obviously all these guys are a few laps behind. So they just need to worry about a few more laps. When Gavin crosses the line, their race will be over. They won't have to complete whatever laps are left. Ronald just not quite close enough to make any sort of move. UW just keeping enough of a distance. Commentary box just getting a little bit quiet. Not a lot happening out on circuit. We've just got that battle for 4th and 5th, but haven't really seen. It's close, but I haven't really seen Ronald make any crazy moves or any crazy last minute dives. He seems content to sit there for the time being and wait for a mistake. But if you're driving behind DW and you're waiting for a mistake, you might want to rethink your strategy. Quite the defensive driver, and he can just go around lap after lap.
And DW has the oldest set of tires on the track at this stage.
40 laps old now. Well, he's not going to have to. You say these tires can go 49 laps. He's not going to have to do 49 laps. Gavin leads the race by over a lap, and well, still don't quite know how it's possible. Race has flipped so many times. We've had 2 safety cars. Luckily we haven't had any surprises with the weather.
So even if there is a safety car, there'll still be no battle for the lead.
Well, if there was a safety car, they'd probably let you overtake the safety car and catch up to the queue. But with Monaco being such a short track, safety car might come in before you catch the queue. We're just going to stay with the McLaren for the time being. The only battle really worth watching on track. Nobody else is in any sort of battle. Nobody else is going to be swapping positions. DW. There's a mistake by DW. He's made a mistake. He's allowed Ronald to get past. I wonder if that was down to the tyres. Maybe just a little bit of lack of grip, sending him wide, causing understeer. Or was it just a mistake?
He tapped the inside wall.
It's allowed the McLaren of Ronald up into 4th place.
And 3 seconds behind Lucas.
Means a potential podium is on the cards. You will be a few laps behind, so he's not going to have another 10 laps to catch Lucas. He needs to do this now. 2.9 seconds is the gap, and as I say that, it goes up to 3 and then 2.7. So yeah, it's a very difficult track to keep pay too much attention to those times. The car in front is in a tight part of the track, suddenly the gap closes, and then it expands again. Ronald now coming up to some traffic. He's actually got Springbok Gamer, who's running around in 7th place between him and Lucas. Blue flags are going, hopefully no penalties come from this. Oh, and there we go, Springbok Gamer slows down, allows the McLaren through. Might have lost just a little bit of time there, but now the gap just 1.1 seconds. Soon, maybe if he can just keep up this pace, by the next time he goes onto this pit straight, he's going to have DRS. Not this time around. Now DW has sort of fallen adrift. When Ronald got past, he's now 5.7.
He lost some of his winglets, his in plates.
He could ride it out until the end of the race. It's not a long way to go. Or he could just pit and finish the race with a much more comfortable feeling car. Car behind him is 43 seconds behind, so he will still come out in 5th. He'll be able to hold his track position, but I don't think he's going to catch Ronald with a broken wing.
No.
So if I was in that position, I would just pit rather than the broken wing maybe causing me to make a mistake and have an accident.
Lucas has wing damage.
Currently in 3rd place. Let's just have a look on the broadcast cam if we can pick up on that damage, and just, there we go, he's missing an end plate on the right hand side, so he's definitely got major damage. It's allowing Ronald to catch him at a rate of knots. Half a second between the two of them. Ronald will be eager to get past, because this is slowing him down. Doesn't have to worry about DW catching up to him. He's got that broken wing. But Ronald will see that podium position right in front of him. Just needs to reach out the car and grab it. That's how close it will feel. But first he needs to get past this Force India, and I don't think it's going to be easy, broken wing or not. This track is narrow. If you're able to maintain your line, you can hold position on this circuit. Easier said than done, but you can hold your line, you would be surprised.
You don't really have to go defensive here.
You just have to keep your line. You don't really have to drive anything in any way differently if you're being defensive. You just need to keep to your racing line and try and make as little mistakes as possible. And it's going to be very difficult for the guy to get behind if you're constantly on the racing line.
The only place you really go and defend if you're really afraid of the guy passing is into the naval chicane. Because that's basically the only place you can pass on the inside.
If you're going to go side by side by the tunnel, then through the tunnel, then that's already a very brave maneuver.
Yeah.
Ronald's still in fourth, not able to get past that Force India. Force India is damaged. Obviously he's not going to come into the pits, he's just going to lose track position if he does that. So he'll go down to fifth. So he's going to hold on for as long as he can.
It's penalties if it stays like this.
Obviously everything I'm saying right now is relevant to the timing screen I'm looking at. What happens after the race, I can't even predict. I'm pretty sure Gavin will be the winner. I'm pretty sure Gavin will be the winner because, I mean, there's a lap. So unless he's got more than a minute 15 seconds worth of penalties, I think he should be fine. Y Racer, pretty much the same. But then where it's going to get a bit complicated is here between third and fifth. What you see here, the lineup you see here, it could mean nothing. We're still doing a good job. Remember, these cars are on default setup, so the wings are on 6.6. If you're able to play with your setup as usual, guys would have a lot more wing. I think the broken wing now, I think he's really going to feel it, but he's doing a great job of holding it together. Seems like Ronald's even dropped back slightly.
Jonathan,
yes.
You only have two finishes.
Well, Gavin is tier 1, Y Racer tier 1. Who are the two tier 2 finishers? Lucas and?
Wolf.
Lucas and Wolf. So two tier 2 drivers remain. Means you only have 5 tier 1 drivers. Ronald getting close to that Force India. Not close enough. And now if you actually watch this Lucas and Ronald, they obviously lapped Springbok Gamer earlier on. And with these two fighting, they're slowing each other down to the extent that they can't get away from Springbok Gamer. the lapped car is right behind them, and he's been there for the past 2 laps. So I think Ronald's really losing time here behind the Force India.
Oh!
Ooh. Did see some carbon fiber, don't see anything missing on the McLaren.
Springbok Gamer.
Have a look at Springbok Gamer, he's in the pits. He might as well go into the pits. He's running around in 7th, he's not going to catch the man in 6th. So put on.
He's also not going to lose a position.
3-second time penalty for Y Racer. He'll be happy he's got a 1 lap gap. That's interesting to say, a 1 lap gap. I don't think I've ever said that. Oldest tyres on circuit at the moment are DW, 50 laps. Obviously wants to finish with this set. He doesn't have too much longer to go.
He has 2 more laps.
Gavin has 2 more laps and he's your leader. If I'm not mistaken, DW's 2 laps behind.
2 laps, okay.
Yeah, I think he's 2 laps behind because Y Racer is 1 lap behind.
No, he's 3
Gavin.
laps behind.
And if you see the timing screen, it says here Y Racer 1 lap
Y Racer's
from Gavin, then Lucas 1 lap from Y Racer.
No. Y Racer 1 lap, Lucas 2 laps, Ronald 2 laps, DW 3 laps, Wolf 3 laps, and Springbok Gamer 4 laps behind.
Oh, there we go.
And then Ronald gets lapped, so Ronald numbers up to 3.
Just breaking up a little bit. So Gavin now on lap 77 of 78. What a story, what a race. Rob, what's your I was just gonna say, driver of the day. It's not really a discussion you can have. I mean, he started in pole. Sorry Gav, but let's face it, had a shocker at the start. And to get back to the lead, that's fantastic. A lot of guys would have dropped their heads here at Monaco and just said, well, I'm done with that. But he kept on pushing. And he looked for every second in every corner that he could.
Defending?
Found his way back to the lead. Ronald still behind Lucas. That podium's so close, but I think it's going to elude him at the end of the day. Might just be 1 step too far. Not sure what's going on with the car of Y Racer. He's sitting in the pits. Okay, now he exits the pits. Here we have Gavin, lap 78 of 78. Through the chicane for the final time. Into the swimming pool section for the final time. And this has been a race with quite the story. And there we have it. Gonna take victory. He's taken victory in Monaco. It's one heck of a drive. Would have been interesting if my co-commentator was out there. He's won this a few times. Just waiting for now Y Racer to come over the line in second. He's currently in the tunnel. He's going around the final corner. His race will end now. He'll classify in 6th. Springbok Gamer has classified in 7th.
Y Racer doing some donuts.
Y Racer doing some donuts, and Well, that's all fun and all, but you haven't been classified. And what would happen if you got disqualified at that moment? It was just a thought that went through my head when he ghosted briefly, and I was like, oh no. If you were to get disqualified on the final lap, because disqualification, you're going to go right to the bottom of the table. It doesn't matter how many laps you were in front. Very nicely done. It was a fantastic race. It promised to be a fantastic race. Monaco always is. Difficult racetrack to race at. Started with 19 drivers. And, well, there we have it. There's your podium. Didn't expect to see this man on the top of on the top step after the first couple of laps. There you have it. Second place to the Red Bull, and well, third place to Ronald. I'm sure penalties played their part. Wait for those final timing screens so we can see what those penalties were.
Lucas lost his podium to Ronald due to penalties.
So that's the first issue we've seen. We'll see when the timing screens come up.
Oh, only guy without penalties is Suarez. Oh, no, not a Springbok gamer.
Well, let's just read the results to you. Gavin in first, obviously Y-Racer second, Ronald third, that's your podium. Lucas came in fourth, DW fifth, Wolf sixth, Springbok gamer seventh. Those were your finishes. Then your retirements. I'm not going to get through this even if I try. Tix, Nizmax, Cowboy, Cameron, Vino, Esotronic, Staffy, and I've run out of time. Well, it was Staffy, and then who were the first three? I'm not even sure. Can't remember that far back.
TnB West, Morris. I can't remember the last one.
Okay, well, Rob, I'm going to invite your podium finishes, if I have them all. Alright, let's see here. Probably not seeing anything on your screens right now, I apologize. There we go, Gavin. Who else? Y-Racer, I'm not sure I've got him. I do. And Ronald. I have all three. Right. Well, we just wait to see if any of your top three will be joining us for podium interview. There we go. We've been joined by Y-Racer, first of our podium finishers to join us, and by Gavin. Just waiting for Ronald. I've sent him an invite. Let's see if he joins us, then we can start with third place. Well, he's not here yet, so let's start with Y-Racer. Yuri started from second, finished in second. Sounds simple, but
I was just about to say, if you put it that way.
But complicated there in the middle.
Yeah, start was sloppy a bit. I initially had to jump on the gaff, but then the wheel spin kicked in and lost second. But Gaff had some issues with the safety car, and so was Nismax having issues, and jumped both of them then.
If I'm not mistaken,
it was just...
you both found yourselves very low down the order, and I actually didn't expect that result if it was 30 laps or 40 laps before the end of the race. I couldn't have predicted that at all. Well, at least my prediction for finishes didn't come true. I predicted 5. Well, if you count tier 1 drivers, I was right. So you happy with the result overall? Could have been a lot worse.
Like whenever Gavin Ness pitted, I took control of the pace. I wasn't pushing at all, and I was happy. And then I sustained some wing damage, and that's where it went south. I was able to hold ticks behind.
Something I do want to ask you. You started on ultra softs, and you stretched those tires for 45 laps, and you lost the wing right in front of the pit entry, so you decided to pit. Correct, or was what I was seeing on screen was wrong?
Yeah, you are correct. The initial strategy was ultras, hypers. But I knew that it is, and I did that, and I selected the hypers in the MFD settings.
Oh, I
but
see.
then the game just decided, yeah, nah, screw that, and here, have some ultras again.
Jeff pulled a fast one.
So that.
Well, thanks, Yuri.
Yeah.
It was a good race. It was good to watch. Let's go to our winner, Gavin. You with us?
I'm here.
Well, what did you make of that? It was, I'm sure at some stage you thought, I'm done with this.
No, I don't know. Just one of those. To be fair to the other guys, you know, they had a lot of issues, a lot of wing damage and things like that. I had none, zero. I had no wing damage. I had other than the safety car incident and the drive-through penalty. I had a clean race.
The only issues you had were really with penalties.
Yeah, the only thing. So, you know, that's what really killed the other guys' races.
So, what's that now? 2 wins in a row? So, 2 wins in a row. Yeah. It's adding Monaco now, so it's not just Japan. And going into the next race, you think you can make it 3 in a row?
Mm-hmm.
What track are we going to? Terrible commentator. I haven't done my research. Where are we going to next? Bahrain. Yeah, no, that's a much better track than Monaco. A lot wider, much more space. Well, it doesn't look like Ronald's going to join us from 3rd place. So, Gavin, Yuri, thanks for joining us. And yeah, we're gonna call this one quits. We'll be back with you next week, Friday, same time. And see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I can swear again.